Hello there, guys. Welcome back to my channel for an FA Cup Final preview as Chelsea are to take on Leicester City at Wembley Stadium, of course, tomorrow evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it, with one, I'm not actually sure, I've got to ask Pice, but at least one of us three actually attending the game, also turning up in an FA Cup winning shirt, which is always a brilliant idea. Mr. Carefree Lewis T, finally back on the channel. It's been a minute. How you been? I hope you're well. And excited for tomorrow. Have you gotten over the Arsenal defeat yet?
Not really, but if we win the FA Cup, fair enough. Because for me, it's like the players didn't play at 100% to save themselves to the FA Cup final. And yeah, that's unbelievably annoying and frustrating. But you lot better go and win the FA Cup then if you're going to throw away a London derby like that, innit? So let's go and win the FA Cup. And let's go and get top four as well. Because if we lose to Leicester, we've thrown top four away.
100%. Literally 4 finals. Well, it might be 3 finals if obviously Liverpool drop points at any point until we play Villa on the last day, I suppose. But if that isn't the case, and with West Brom and Burnley, they're not exactly playing the biggest of teams in the world. Even though Burnley with fans might not be as easy as people think it might be for Liverpool. But still, it's rather unlikely. They're probably going to win those 2 games, and then we absolutely need to beat Villa. Well, a draw would... No, even a draw wouldn't be enough on goal difference. So we need to get this dub here.
Goal difference is a bit sticky with Liverpool. It's only West Ham that we have a strong goal difference against, so I'm not really too worried about them.
No, 100%. I think West Ham are off anyway. Well, obviously, we need to beat Leicester regardless, but in terms of the Villa game then. But of course, we're also joined by Mr. CFCPys, a good friend of the channel, very special guest, as always. First of all, Pies, are you going to the Cup Final? I'm not actually sure. And regardless of whether you are or not, how are you doing and how are you feeling ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going. I really wish I was, but, I've been to, I think, obviously, Man U game and others before, but, yeah, not this time. But, yeah, I'm doing okay, man. And, yeah, I kind of still deflated after Arsenal because I really thought we'd win that. And, obviously, Tuchel is as well. Like, if you saw what Tuchel said in his press conference, he was like, I'm not in the mood for cup final build-up. I'm still angry with the Arsenal result. And I guess that's kind of what we're feeling like. I don't know, man. I'm not really feeling the hype of this game. I just want to win it, and then I'll feel happy, obviously. But I'm not like usual where I'd be like, oh, my God, it's cup final day tomorrow. Like, I don't really feel like that because Arsenal's kind of ruined it for me. But I just hope we win because then it will feel great after. And the thing is, we've got them again, like twice in a row. So, it's going to be difficult to beat them back to back because they aren't, scrubs. Let's be honest. They're not a bad team. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I just hope the players turn up because play anything like Arsenal, we'll lose because for me, Leicester are miles better than Arsenal anyway. So, yeah, I really hope they're on 100%, like the Real Madrid games. Just be on it, man. And then we'll win for sure.
My only thing is I wouldn't be asking them if it was worth it because I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that. I really think that they didn't play at the full intensity for that game because of the cup final. And people say they understand that. I don't personally. It's a London derby. I think like the importance of a game like this really shouldn't be underestimated like that, especially seeing as this is the team that beat us in the cup final last year. This is the team that's beaten us the last 2 times. We haven't beaten in 4 games now. And we just completely went and we handed them the game with the goal, but it's like, we didn't even chase the game properly. Like, we played that like it was, okay, we're 1-0 down, but we've got games in the future to look forward to. We don't have to worry about this. But it was an easy 3 points to get. And if we go to this game and we win, we don't even have to worry about the Aston Villa game. We go and get a draw at Leicester City. We're in the top 4. We're done. Play all the kids against Aston Villa and rest players for the final. Now we can't do it. We've made our job that much harder for ourselves because we went and underestimated an Arsenal team again.
No, I 100% agree. I think that's what it is. More so than kind of resting ourselves for the cup final. I think it's just we underestimated Arsenal. And I think Tuchel said that post-game himself. He gave the wrong messages. And myself and Pice discussed this. Like, I just don't think he gave off the correct vibes by doing things like starting Kepa in this game and then saying post-game, yeah, we wanted to start him to give him a game of preparation before the cup final. I mean, we'll discuss the whole decision of him starting the cup final, but I think a much worse decision than that was to start him against Arsenal just for that reason. I think that made no sense and sent the completely wrong message to the players, including putting someone like leaving Rudiger out of the squad completely. I'm sure he was a little bit tired and everything and overload and everything else. Fair. But that doesn't mean you can't be on the bench in a home game. Like, this was a home game. Let's not forget, it was a home. We didn't travel to Manchester. It's a different story. But and obviously Kante, we learned after that it was a bit about pain management as well. Fair enough. But I wasn't happy with the Arsenal game. And I think part of the reason why Tyson, maybe you as well a little bit, Lewis, although you're going, so for you, I'm sure it will change tomorrow, the latest. Why it doesn't feel like cup final days. Don't forget, guys, usually the cup final is after the last Prem game. We have 2 Prem games after the cup final, which makes it all very weird. Like, if we played this after Villa and we had top 4 sorted, all of us will be hyped. I think part of the reason why we're not hyped after losing Arsenal is less so the fact we lost to Arsenal, but the fact that top 4 has just been made more difficult and unnecessarily more difficult. I think that's partly why we're less excited for tomorrow, because, Liverpool get their win and it's all so tight by the time we actually play Leicester. I think that's part of it. No, to be honest, I don't really understand it. Why couldn't they just... I suppose otherwise you would have had the last Prem game in midweek, and you can't really do that either, I guess. So it's a tough one, but playing the FA Cup final a week before the Premier League ends, personally, I find to be very, very strange. But we have a super chat by Mr. Wayne Mold. Brilliant guy. Love you, Wayne. Saying, big up Laurenz and my G Lewis and Pice. Please get Laurenz to 10K. Exactly. Please get Laurenz to 10K. We're like 125 subscribers away at this point. So we're getting so close now. So if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. And like Wayne says, smash the like button. And he has heard correctly. Mr. AC, Andreas Christensen, the AC penitentiary warden, is back. So he's happy now, which, who doesn't like a happy Wayne? I like a happy Wayne, so we're all pleased. And I suppose maybe we'll just start with that quickly, because obviously the most positive news, really, is the fact that we have every single player fit and available, which is brilliant. Everybody's saying, the season is so long and you'll have so many injuries by the end of the season. And 4 games before the end of the season, we have every single player fit and available. So touch wood, fingers crossed that it stays that way, because we're certainly fortunate in that sense. I'm sure also we have a big squad, so it's easier for us to rotate than some others. But still, we're in a lucky position that way. We're in a good position that way. Andreas Christensen is back from his injury suffered against Man City. Matteo Kovacic is finally back from his hamstring problem. And even N'Golo Kante, even though it was never really in doubt, is back in contention and available. And actually confirmed by Thomas Tuchel that he will start after, obviously, that pain management in his Achilles. So I suppose with all of that said, I asked you, Pice, but how do you actually feel ahead of the final tomorrow? Like, is it a case of, are you confident? I know you said whoever wins tomorrow might be in a worse position for the league game on Tuesday, but just focusing on tomorrow, you confident? You nervous? How you feeling?
A bit of both, really. Obviously, we'll touch on it, but I'd rather that Kepa doesn't start in goal, to be honest with you, just personal preference. He just makes me a little bit nervous, but I think another thing that's making me nervous is I don't quite know with Chelsea what, like you said, with Arsenal, I feel like we underestimated them. I just hope that we don't go in tomorrow thinking that we'll beat Leicester and lift the cup. We can't underestimate Leicester. They are a really good team. So I don't think we will, because obviously we lost against Arsenal. Usually what happens is when we lose a game like that, we'll just go and beat the next team. And, but it just doesn't seem to me that over the last few years, there's never been a consistent level of, we seem to underestimate teams quite a lot. Like when we shouldn't, we don't treat every team the same. And I feel like that's what we've done with Arsenal a little bit, because obviously they were in a bad run, and Arteta was apparently going to whatever, and nothing. Their owner was in disarray. So I don't know, man. I just hope that tomorrow we will turn up and outplay them, because we can outperform them, we can outrun them, we can outplay them. It's just up to the players to turn up. And for me personally, I can't feel too confident at the moment just because of Arsenal. And again, for me, confidence depends on the team as well. Like, I wanted to see what team we put out. We'll see. Again, like the first 20 or 30 minutes will tell me a lot as well, what type of game we're going to play and different things. It's always very hard for me to say whether I'm confident or not before a cup final, because I still think Leicester are a really good team.
They are, but I also feel like you've just spoken to CFC Daily a bit too much. He's rubbed off on you.
No, bro, I'm trying to get that guy to be more positive. Like, I'm not positive, but
yeah, instead he's made you a bit more negative.
No, bro, like he is just ultra negative. Like, he thinks we're losing to Villa because they've got Grealish back. Like, what is this? Like, come on, it's crazy.
That is a whole different debate to be had anyway. But hey, some people cope with things differently, I suppose. I suppose maybe we should get to that right now. How do you feel? And I'll get to you first, Lewis, because I kind of know your opinion on it already, Pies. How do you feel, Lewis, about Kepa starting a cup final? Like Thomas Tuchel literally confirmed that in the press conference today. He also confirmed it already after the Arsenal game, that the Arsenal game was literally in preparation for the FA Cup final. And he said, well, he is the cup goalkeeper. He is the goalkeeper that took us to the final. So therefore, he deserves to play the final, which is certainly a way of looking at it that is understandable, in my opinion. Like, fair enough. He played every game in this competition. I mean, if he didn't play the semi-finals, then I think no one would have a problem. But if you also play the semis, I think at that point, you kind of got to play the final as well. Like, especially when you play the semis against Man City, you're not going to change it for the FA Cup final. Like, I never expected it. But I just wanted to get your opinions on it. And I also did a Twitter poll, which I'll read out to you in a minute, the results of that. But Lewis, how do you feel about it? Like, are you happy with Kepa? Would you have gone with Mendy, or is it for you like, I don't really care?
I would have preferably gone for Mendy, but I understand why Kepa's being in the lineup. I'm not going to say too much about it. I mean, his record in recent games has been good enough. Yeah, there was the howler for the Arsenal game, but really and truly, the more I look at it, it's not even really Kepa's fault, to be honest. It's more Kurt Zouma for putting both Jorginho and Kepa in that position, in my opinion. The only thing I will say is I don't really think it was that much Jorginho's fault. I thought he got scapegoated heavily for that. But the way I saw it initially, I thought it was Kepa's fault. And it weren't even really Kepa's fault, to be honest. So we can all be victims of accidentally scapegoating people in that situation. But I'm never going to be too confident with Kepa. I can't lie. I have to see him pull out worldy saves consistently. And what I usually see is Kepa's mostly catching balls because we don't really get that much threat in the games that we've seen him play. Even the Manchester City game can't really tell me any clear-cut chances that he had to deal with in that match. Or if there's anything that's off the top of my head that I've forgotten, but I don't see anyone in the comment section tell me. If there is one, let me know, but I haven't really seen him get properly tested. So I feel like this is going to be a massive test for him, but it's not really the time to take massive risks in the cup final. So it doesn't fill me with confidence, but whatever, innit? We're going to go in and it's not Kepa from 1920, so it might be a different Kepa. We'll have to wait and see, but it doesn't fill me with the biggest of confidence going into this game. I can't lie. Most shots I see that go in with Kepa, I'm always instantly going to say Mendy would have probably saved it because Mendy's the taller goalkeeper with a bigger wingspan. So I'm not really too sure, but whatever, I guess we're here. So I guess we got to deal with it. We just better be solid on set pieces because we know what we're like with Kepa catching crosses and everything. So let's deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. Although I think that comment by Fantasy PGA Tour is a bit harsh. In terms of worst first choice goalkeeper, I think most of us would agree. But in terms of worst goalkeeper, have you seen Hilario? Have you seen Ross Turnbull? You're not telling me Kepa is worse than those. I'm not having it.
No, he's not worse. He's just been worse. Because 1920 Kepa was definitely the worst keeper we've ever seen. But Kepa in general...
But the others haven't played enough to be compared to a full season bad.
Yeah, no. It's just, I understand if we're going to talk about them at their worst. But we've seen Kepa at his best too. 18-19 Kepa got the third highest clean sheets in the Premier League. So there is a good player in there. It's just, I know what his deficiencies are. Man can't reach the top corners and he can't catch crosses.
Yeah, and he's also I remember a few world-class saves. The first one that jumps out at me, and actually, before I say mine, because I know one in my head, do you have one world-class save by Kepa that jumps out at you, Pies, or do you not know one either?
Yeah, I think the one that I remember and I was at the game was Watford at home, I think it was, when he reached into the... Like, that was the only time I thought, like, that's crazy. like, he actually got that. I didn't expect him to get that. He kind of like... I think it was Troy Deeney. He got up and, like, clawed it away right in the top corner.
Almost like that famous Tim Howard save or David Seaman save from all the way back in the day where they clawed backwards, kind of.
Yeah, it was an amazing save. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just still nervous with him in goal, to be honest.
Exactly. That's the one I was going to say. The Super Cup game against Liverpool, the double save. That's the one I have in my head for world.
I was thinking the triple save in the FA Cup when they were talking about Liverpool.
That too. To be fair, but that Super Cup game.
Saves from Kepa, we've seen it as a reaction goalkeeper. He isn't bad. I'm not judging his reactions. I'm judging his catching and I'm judging his jumping. That's where my problem is with him. But reactions, no, he's a great reaction keeper. We've seen a lot of great saves from him.
100%. I mean, Flyers has made a point. The only problem to counteract your point there is the fact that Iker Casillas exists, who's literally the same height as Kepa and one of the best goalkeepers the world has ever seen. So,
that's the thing. Iker Casillas is levels. That's the difference.
Yeah. Kepa should find a way. And then you see people like, who is it? Awful comparison, and what doesn't help any of you. But the striker for my local team, he's literally shorter than Werner. I've never seen a player with a more ridiculous leap. The man outjumps people that are 7 feet tall every time. It's ridiculous. So if Kepa had a leap that's crazy, be fine that he's short.
I can hear that because N'Golo Kante ain't really the tallest, but he's always good with aerial duels.
True. I mean, obviously he's against midfielders, not centre backs, which makes.
Yeah. I don't want him up against Vestergaard or nothing like that, but he wins his aerial duels in the midfield.
No, 100%. Before, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about the lineup that us would like to see before we kind of continue the Mendy Kepa conversation, because it's a difficult conversation. And then I'll read out the whole Twitter poll for you as well. Let me quickly play the clip for the OneFootball sponsorship this month. Download the OneFootball app with the link down in the description. That'd be massively appreciated. I want to say a massive thank you to OneFootball for partnering up with me and sponsoring my channel. Like the name suggests, it's a football app. And trust me, it's one of the best ones out there. You get all the latest football news from pretty much every single team and league all around the world. Team news, live score updates, league tables, fixture lists, everything you could possibly want to know in the world of football, you find it right there. Never want to miss out on any news surrounding Chelsea again? OneFootball has got you covered. As you can see on screen now, all the news is all there in one place. Whether it's the latest injury news, articles before and after games, or of course, transfer rumors. And with the transfer window actually opening and coming up soon, as well, you'll definitely want to make use of that transfer indicator, which not only tells you about all the rumors out there, it also tells you how likely a certain transfer actually is to happen. Like I said, it's honestly a brilliant app that I can only recommend downloading with the link down in the description below. And downloading the app with my link also really helps out my channel. All it takes is literally a few seconds to click that link down in the description below. Doesn't matter whether you're on iPhone or Android, I download the app right there with that link. So again, go down below into the description and download the OneFootball app with my link right now. And like I said, people's opinions seem to be very split. So I put out a poll on Twitter basically saying that Tuchel has confirmed Kepa to start. But I was just curious to see what people would prefer, because obviously you're always in your circles, right? You talk to the people you talk to, and that might just be one opinion. It's like with the Chelsea kid. Most of us that I know and that I've spoken to really hate it. But then there's a couple of people that I've seen that really love it. So I'm like, and we will never know about these. So our opinion will be every Chelsea fan hates it, when there's probably plenty that love it. Like I saw the poll on the Talk Chelsea Insta page, and there was 72% of people would like as reaction to the new kit would put like the emoji with the heart eyes compared to like the throwing up emoji. So I'm like, what? Where have these people come from? And they have like 500k followers in there. So this is a much better probably like view of what people think compared to the people that I talk to, I suppose. But in terms of this Kepa Mendy situation, I put out the poll, who would they rather see, Kepa, Mendy, or don't mind, I suppose. We had 1,150 roughly votes. 32.5% of those said Kepa. 47.6% of those said Mendy. And around 20, but 19.8% said I don't mind. Personally, I'm in the almost I don't mind bracket, personally. I'm like, I can see the perspective of why Kepa should start, but would I be upset if Mendy started? Excuse me, absolutely not. But for me, because I asked Pies to retweet it, so we have a few more like votes on there, and he said, 1,000 votes, and Kepa was way behind Mendy. For me, I'm actually surprised that 32.5% would prefer Kepa to start. I'm surprised by that, but it's a tough one, isn't it? Like, you can look at it so many different ways of thinking, but the best goalkeeper is the best goalkeeper and he should always play. But at the same time, like I said, Kepa got us there. Do you know what I mean? Like, and someone put this, I don't know whether it was in the chat or whether I saw it on Twitter, to some extent, it's also a little bit for the squad, Because if a guy does well in training, if a guy is well liked in the squad, and if he plays every round of the competition until the final, and then you don't start him in the final, maybe that doesn't go down well. I don't know. Like I said, for me, he shouldn't have started him in the semi, and then that would have been fine. I think that would have been okay. But the fact that he already started him in the semi, I think he almost has to start him in the final now. That's my view on it. How do you see that, Lewis?
What, Mendy's Kepa starting?
Yeah, Kepa. Like I said, if he didn't start him in the semis, it would have all been fine. But because he started him in the semi, I think he almost has to start him now.
Yes and no. I remember when we won in 2018, Caballero started every round, and then it was Courtois in the final. I think 2020, was it Caballero for most of the rounds as well? And no, it was Caballero for the final as well, to be honest, under Frank Lampard.
But that is maybe a different comparison because Kepa was kind of half out of the team anyway.
Yeah, under that form, I didn't want him to start in the final anyway. It all depends on the manager. If you start your best goalkeeper in a final, there's not really any questions. It's like, okay, cool, you're going for your strongest team. But I understand it in terms of, it's kind of like just throwing your second keeper a bone, to be honest, where it's like, cool, you ain't going to start most of the league games, but I'll guarantee you the cup games, regardless of how far we go, just so you have something to focus on. So I get it in terms of morale. Also, in terms of giving Kepa confidence, because they're trying to recoup resale value on him as much as they can. So I get it, even though I don't 100% agree with it.
Yeah, for me, it's a case, and Fantasy PJ Tour makes a fair case, saying people say Kepa deserves to start the final because he played all the other cup games. Mendy deserves to start as he's displayed himself to be by far the best goalkeeper at the club. That's 100% true. And my perspective would almost be, I would start the second goalie in the cups, in the cup final, if he's planning to stay, because you need to keep them happy. It's not as easy as with the outfield position where you can rotate, and even a player that doesn't play so much, it's easier to give them a game every now and again. You bring them off the bench, stuff like that. For a goalie, that's much more difficult. So if you're planning to keep him, I think that's fair enough. Keep him happy, keep everything happy in the squad. But if you're planning to sell him in the summer anyway, as much as it's to recoup some resale value, like Lewis just touched on, what number of difference is he going to make, whether he plays tomorrow or not? 5 million? Is 5 million more or less really going to make that much of a difference to Chelsea? I would be surprised if it did. So by that logic, I don't get it. But if we end up somehow keeping Kepa, then I get it. But obviously, I don't want us to keep Kepa. But Pais, I know you feel very strongly about it. I know you hinted on it already about your thoughts, but just leave your thoughts free flow and let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, to be honest, like Lewis said, I get it why he's starting. Going to start, obviously, because squad morale and things like that, it kind of, makes sense. And obviously, he is our backup goalkeeper, but obviously, other teams have done it in the past. Like, Stefan played in the semi-final, and I'm sure he would have played in the final. I think Romero played in the Europa League final for United. So, clubs do have, cup goalkeepers, as you'd call them. But just for me personally...
Europa League final is also, is also actually bigger than the FA Cup final.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that people do have cup goalies and stuff, but personally, I'll just start Mendy. He's on number one. I trust him more, especially from crosses and things like that, and just one-on-one situations. But I do get it. It's just annoying because I just want Mendy to play every game that he's fit. The other argument you could say, is he going to stay or is it to recoup value? If it's to recoup value and he puts on a masterclass in the FA Cup final, with Marina, Grand of Sky, she's very good at negotiating. She can easily add extra value on, sometimes overvalue players. Resold Morata for the same price, didn't she, after, a woeful time here. So you never know with Marina. But the thing is, if he's going to stay, then fair enough. To be honest with you, Mendy's going to AFCON at some point next year. So we're going to need a keeper for a month, I think, period. So whether that's Kepa or whether we sign another cheap goalie, I've heard Areola or someone like that, I'm not sure. But it'll be interesting. There's lots of different sides to the story. In my personal opinion, we should play Mendy, but I do get why Kepa is playing. I just really, really hope it doesn't affect us, because then obviously me and everyone else will be angry that, Mendy didn't start.
No, 100%. To be honest, I can't even disagree with this comment here saying we just all agreed that he was our worst starting goalkeeper. but we wanted to start an FA Cup final. It sounds stupid. It's true. Like it does. It absolutely does. I actually...
nothing makes sense, man. I've had to drop my Alonso agenda after last week, so it is what it is.
But I actually have a little bit of a funny but interesting anecdote to share. Just because just before we started this stream, I was listening to Dan McCarthy's and Simon Phillips' podcast where they had Christophe Terreur, the Belgian journalist, as a guest. And he actually spoke about I don't really know how they got into it, I suppose, talking about Courtois leaving for Real Madrid. And he actually told how it even happened that we signed Kepa. So Real Madrid wanted Alisson. Chelsea wanted Alisson. Then Courtois had a good World Cup. And in the last week of the World Cup, Real Madrid decided they actually want Courtois, not Alisson. But then they took forever to actually make a bid properly. While in that time, Liverpool started swooping in for Alisson. But we still had Courtois. And if we kept Courtois, we wouldn't have wanted Alisson. But then kind of once Real Madrid did come in, Courtois was like, well, I'm off. Don't care what you want. That's why he went AWOL and everything. But by that point, Liverpool had basically signed Alisson, and we were sat there in that period actually looking for a backup goalkeeper to Courtois because we were almost of the belief that he wouldn't leave anymore. And so that's why we kind of had to last minute buy this Kepa thing, because Sarri really wanted Alisson. Sarri didn't really want, well, I'm sure he didn't have a problem with Kepa in the end, but his main goalkeeping target that he wanted was Alisson. But because of this whole mess of Liverpool in the end getting Alisson and Real Madrid taking so long to decide on Courtois, that's why this whole Kepa thing even happened. So I feel bad for Kepa. It's like it's not his fault. It's just Liverpool and Real Madrid. They all screwed us. And in the end, we had to sign someone, so we signed him for the...
we screwed ourselves because we spent the same amount of money on Kepa that we should have spent on Alisson in the first place. So
no, 100%. But the reason we didn't spend it on Alisson is because we were of the belief Courtois was staying by the time Alisson had basically signed for Liverpool.
Yeah, but Courtois had already said he wanted to leave by that point.
And that's another interesting thing. Courtois wanted to leave Chelsea every single summer other than the summer Kante joined. Every single summer he asked to leave. He asked to leave even when we got him.
Season he didn't leave was when he didn't want to leave was when we finished 10th.
Well, I don't know why really, but somehow
Kante... I get if it's a fact. It's just Rod. That's the one season you wanted to stay, you weird guy.
Yeah, I mean, fair point, to be honest. But no, even when we got him back from Atletico, he never wanted to come back from that loan. He never wanted to, because obviously he had his girlfriend at the time who is split up in that period. But we basically left him at Atletico on loan for too long. He was there for too long.
Exactly.
He settled his life, and then we were screwed. So that was a whole story. And yeah, just thought I'd tell you that because literally I listened to
Kepa was meant to go to Real Madrid, weren't he? But then he had that foot injury, and
he had that foot injury, but he was meant to go as a backup goalkeeper because at the time his release clause was like 15 million euros.
Yeah, but apparently that was the only time where Courtois was actually willing to extend his contract because he thought, okay, Atletico ain't gonna sign me because they got Oblak and now they're signing Kepa.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
that
whole
fell through, and here we are, innit? He's at Real Madrid, the dirty little snake, and we got Kepa and Mendy, but at least we got Mendy, I guess.
I mean, of course, JC, yes, but when Kante joined, we had just finished 10th. That's what Lewis meant. And we have another super chat here, if I can click on it. Thank you. Fantasy PGA Tour, cheers for the donation, saying, how did Kepa react in the last cup final he played? Well, he refused to be subbed off, but he's not going to get subbed off tomorrow, so we're going to be fine, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's a whole mess anyway. That was a whole mess. That was a whole mess. But you know what? Let's get into the team that we'd like to see. Let me just share the screen so we can do that a little bit, not fancy, but just, we can show you on screen and not just waffle. I think that makes things a little bit easier. I'm sure you can all see it now. So I suppose because it's not really a debate to be had, I just put Kepa in goal. And Lewis and myself and Pites was kind of just sat there listening to me and Lewis rant about everything. We were kind of discussing the back three already. How are you two, and I'll go with you first, Pites, how are you feeling about the back three? Who do you think will start? And I suppose the biggest question is, does Thiago Silva start again? Because it's only happened, I think, once so far that he's played 3 games in a row.
Yeah, hope he does start, but I can understand if he doesn't. For my back three tomorrow, I'm probably going to stick Silva in for the Premier League game. And I'll probably go with Rudiger, Christensen, and Azpilicueta, I think.
Oh, so you rest Thiago Silva too?
I wouldn't. I'd play him, but I think Tuchel will.
Okay, but you would play Thiago and not play Christensen, basically.
Yeah, I'd play Christensen in the Prem game, but I think he will play Silva in the Prem game because, as much as it sounds crazy, top four, yeah, could be way more important than a cup, considering the next summer and what we need and the revenue and things like that. So yeah, I would go with Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspi. That's what I think he's going to do.
Do you see a small chance of him doing what he did against Real Madrid and West Ham, where he plays Aspi right wing back and Christensen as part of the back three?
No, I think he will play James at right wing back. I think, personally.
Yeah, we don't need to be defensively solid for this game. Well, we don't need to be overly defensively minded for this game because I feel like Leicester's going to be the team sitting deep too. So you don't really need Azpilicueta at wing back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I'll give you this reason now, but I would prefer Thiago Silva. And I know it doesn't make you happy, Pies, because that's part of the reason why you want to start Mendy. Part of the reason why I want Thiago Silva to play is because Kepa's playing. I need these calming type of players on the pitch.
Yeah,
and if we don't have Mendy, I need Thiago. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I think Christensen and Rudiger are calm on the ball. It's not like
no, on the ball. But I mean, as in character, I think Christensen's too quiet.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but then again, I think Rudiger compensates. Like, if you want a leader, I think Rudiger will compensate for that. And Aspi obviously captain, but he doesn't really shout and get involved. I think Rudiger will be the compensation for Silva not playing. But I mean, Silva could still play. I just think he won't because of previous, and I think he'll play him in the Prem game.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. Lewis, I'll get to you in a second. Just going to read out this super which I appreciate a lot by the Chelsea perspective, saying Kepa has been between the sticks in all the FA Cup matches and has done well. We just need a solid back line to protect him. He will definitely start. Oh, no, we know he's going to start. Thomas Tuchel has literally confirmed that both after the Arsenal game and today in the press conference. But this question is just, is it a mistake, I suppose? Like I said, I'm of the opinion, fair enough. I don't think either Kepa or Mendy will be the decisive factor for whether we lose or win the final, personally. Hence why I'm in the camp of I don't really mind. But yeah, it's definitely a tough one. But Lewis, you're firmly on Christensen, yeah? If it's your team.
Yeah, I'd rather see Silva start the league match only because both are important. And if we're going to play a strong team for this one and then look to rotate for the next game, I think we still need strong players for that too. So I'd rather we keep Silva as one of our key players for the league match. I get either or. I'm not really going to have a problem with whatever defensive three you put up. As long as Kurt Zouma ain't in the lineup, I'm happy. And we'll be fine defensively regardless. Other than that, Rudiger, Christian, Aspi is fine. If you take out Christensen and put in Thiago Silva, that's fine too. Regardless, I don't think our problem is going to be defensively for this game. It's going to be when we look further forward.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because Flyer said it here. It's an FA Cup final. You should start your best.
I know, but we haven't done our job now, and top four is harder. If we had beaten Arsenal, I would have been cool, play Thiago Silva. No question.
My only almost counter argument to that would be Leicester will play their strongest team tomorrow as well. And they will have to rotate in the league, I presume, or they play the same players and they're all shattered.
Yeah, but we also know with Thiago Silva's age as well. And the biggest thing is do not overplay Thiago Silva. The biggest nightmare would be he gets an injury and is out for the Champions League final. So I get everyone saying it's a final. We have bigger fish to fry and we have bigger jobs to do as well. Really and truly, top four is massively important to us. Champions League final is massively important to us. FA Cup final is important to us. It is a trophy. I completely understand that. But in the eyes of the board and the club, they're going to want top four more and they're going to want a Champions League a lot more. So I could see Thiago Silva get dropped for this one.
No, I could see it. I could 100% see it as well. And to be honest, Price said he thinks Tuchel will pick Silva. Honestly, I don't know. I think a question in that is also how fit actually is Christensen, because mind you, he's just come back from an injury. So is he actually fit to start today, or would it be safer to start him against Leicester on Tuesday? Do you know what I mean? That is maybe something that we need to consider.
It's an either-or situation. Whoever doesn't start this one will start the league game, and I'm not going to have any reservations about which one it is. My thing is more Thiago Silva's fitness and his age. That's the question mark for me. Just as much as Christensen's injury is a question mark too.
Yeah, and I suppose we don't have the inside knowledge to really know, and only Tuchel will know, hence why that's...
Yeah, we just speculated.
100%, 100%. I suppose next we get to the wing backs. Pice has already given us his thoughts in terms of the right wing back. Actually, Lewis, do you think that's a possibility that we see Thiago and Christensen start and Aspie at right wing back, or maybe Aspie rested? Because you never know. But do you see that as an option?
Rested, maybe, but I feel like Aspie's similar as well, where he's kind of like Mason Mount, where it's just a Duracell bunny. You could just keep him running for 90 minutes and he'd be fine. So I'm not really too fussed about Azpilicueta starting. I just don't think right wing backs is the right option for us, because they're going to be wanting us to bring players forward. And if we play him at wing back,
or would you go with Callum?
Nah, I'd go James, to be honest. I think James would be more defensively solid and offer you something going forward. And same way, like Hudson-Odoi's performance when he came on yesterday, against Arsenal, weren't really the best either. I get everybody was poor, but you're coming on as a sub. Like, again, it was just a poor output. Like, I don't see him starting this one.
No, fair play. Pice, I know you agree that left back, is it as simple as, just Chile, and it's not even a debate? Pice, what you're saying?
So left back Chilwell, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no debate for me. I think he has to play. Especially against his old club as well. He's going to be extra motivated to win.
True. Would be big for him as well, because obviously we're behind them in the league since bloody Tuesday, not Wednesday, whenever the game was. He'll want something from this. For you as well, Lewis, Chile. Yeah, I know you just said a minute ago you had to drop your Alonso agenda after the City game, but it's still Chilwell, right? Lewis? He's gone for a second. I didn't see that for a second. 1 sec. There he is. Sorry, my bad. I was on a different screen. I didn't see. My bad, guys.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, fucking no way. Yeah, Chilwell goes into this game regardless.
There you go. All good. And then in terms of the midfield, not only has Thomas Tuchel confirmed that Kepa will start, he's also actually confirmed that N'Golo Kante will start. I'm not sure whether that's kind of slipped out or whether he was always meant to tell the media. I don't know. But he will start. And I suppose now the question is, does Kovacic start straight away? Because Kovacic was out for a month now. Is it smart to start him straight back? Personally, just for his injury reason, I wouldn't. And I would start him against Leicester. That's what I would do against Leicester. On Tuesday against Leicester in the league. It's difficult when you come back from an injury. You don't want to be thrown in too quick, in my opinion. How do you see that one, Lewis? Would you go cover or Jorginho next to Kante?
No, I have to be Jorginho. For me, I always say when it's a midfield two, you have to have a sitter and a presser. If you have two pressers, you're going to leave space in behind. And that's perfect for Leicester City on the counter-attack too. So I wouldn't want that. I'd rather we go for Kante and Jorginho. And both of them have been excellent together as well. Absolutely dominated Real Madrid over two legs. So I'm not really that worried about their chemistry anymore either. So yeah, that's the perfect lineup for me.
To be fair. But Fantasy PJ, I mean, you might have a go at me, but Tuchel literally confirmed that he's starting. So I can't do nothing about this now. I'm sorry. I can't help it. And mind you, he wasn't injured for Arsenal. He just had a bit of pain. If you've ever done sports, sometimes your body just aches a bit. That doesn't mean it's an injury. You're just a bit achy. He wasn't injured as such. He's absolutely fine. But Pice, what about you? I know you're a big fan of Mateo Kovacic, but would you risk it throwing him straight back in? Or would you go with Jorginho just to make sure Kovacic doesn't get re-injured?
No, I agree with Lewis, to be honest. I'll do Kante and Jorginho. I think when you play Kovacic and Kante, Kovacic almost actually is the one that sits, which you wouldn't think. You'd think that Kante would be the one that sits, but Kante usually goes roaming, and that leaves Kovacic sitting, which I don't really like. So Jorginho and Kante. Jorginho's happy to sit deep, collect the ball. Kante can roam. And I think Kovacic will come on to get ready for Tuesday. I think he'll come on maybe 60, 70 minutes. Probably for Jorginho, because I see Jorginho and Kovacic both starting. I think that'll be the pivot on Tuesday. Just to rest Kante. And I think because of Kante, isn't he playing with like injections or something? If he is, then that's a worry. If he's having pain injections, I'm pretty sure I heard that he was going to play with like he still had pain or something, but I'm not quite sure if that's true. But if it is, then obviously that's a worry. Just feels like maybe we're playing Kante because it's Kante. You know, when we've had those situations before where we've just shoved him in, but in a big game, even though he's not 100%. I hope he is 100%, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that he was going to play with some sort of injection or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, that is slightly worrying. But it's not quite true what he said that we're only on 40 likes. We're only on around 70 likes. So make sure you drop that like button right now. We have 320 odd people watching. So make sure you smash the like button. And even more importantly, and I have to tell you this face to face right now, get subscribed. We're literally 125 subscribers away from 10,000. So if you're new here and we have 320 people watching, go down below, smash that big red subscribe button. Please subscribe. It would honestly mean the world to me to hit 10K. Just subscribe, honestly, be brilliant. Just hit that button. Doesn't cost you any money, doesn't take you any time. Just click it, please. That'd be massively appreciated. And, sorry, we're back. Wait, there you go. That's the one. That's the one. Sorry. We're back. It's all good. We're going. Anyway, let's go to the front three. And I'll start off myself. There's two players which are guaranteed to start for me. One's Mason Mount, one's Timo Werner. I just don't know who should be the third one. That's it for me. And to be honest, I think we should almost start these two for every of the remaining games because I've had my criticisms of Timo Werner, but I also saw us how we played against Arsenal without Timo Werner. I know I also saw that against Palace, and that was great. I get it. But I saw it against Arsenal. I'm like, I don't want to see that again. So Werner almost has to start. And in a weird way, I almost think at this point, I almost feel like Werner is this weird secret weapon that Tuchel has, where he's so bad at some things, you almost don't take him seriously, but that's why he destroys you. It's weird. But I'm not going to I write Mountain.
Underestimate Timo at your peril.
Exactly.
Or overestimate him at your peril as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to write Werner down just yet because I don't know which position he'll start, I suppose. But what about you, Pys? Is it Mount and Werner plus someone, or would you, disagree with my statement, I suppose?
Yeah, no, usually going into this cup final and what has happened before, I would go with the front three that started against Arsenal. But because of how bad they were, I think not only will Tuchel drop probably at least two of them, I just don't think they should start. So my front three is Mount on the left, Werner striker, and Hakim Ziyech on the right.
Lewis, what about you?
I feel like I want to see Kai Havertz play in this game, but after the Arsenal game, it's a bit sticky because he didn't have the best of performances. But it's a tough one. Mount's obviously going to play. I feel like I want to say Werner and Havertz.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like Havertz in the middle, Werner on the left, Mount on the right. That's what I would want to see.
It's interesting. First of all, what's very interesting and what some of the viewers will not be happy with, neither of us said Christian Pulisic.
And I was limping the whole way through. I don't want him playing.
That's true. I mean, limping and keeping on playing.
Play him on the pitch for so long, man. That even makes sense in itself.
See, but I don't think it was limping injury-wise. I think it was just like a bit bruised, Like if you hit your knee against an edge, you're like a bit hurt, but you're not injured, to stop you from doing anything. I think it was kind of one of those. I think I would agree with Pys as long as Ziyech plays on the right, not on the left, like we did. What game did we do that?
Man
City in the first half. Ziyech was on the left, and I was like, "What are we doing?" So I didn't like that, but I would probably be inclined to agree with this. But I won't lie to you, Lewis. If it's Havertz here, and obviously Mount then obviously goes over here, and Werner goes here, I won't be upset. Would you be upset with that, Pys?
No, I wouldn't be upset. I just think it makes more sense to play Werner striker because, I mean, they've not got Johnny Evans. So
they do. I think
they do have Johnny Evans?
Well, I think what Brendan Rodgers said 2 days ago, at least in his last press conference that he did, or yesterday, whenever it was, he said they're very hopeful and positive that he will be able to play, but it will be a little bit of a last-minute decision.
Well, by sounds of that, he's not going to be 100% anyway. So Yeah, it doesn't really change my thinking. I think my thinking for this was Ziyech picking the ball up. I think he's had some good cameo appearances. Leicester are going to sit deep, I think, and probably try and hit us on the break. Werner with the runs in behind, and then you have Mount on the left as well. I just think it'll work really well. Havertz up top would do it, but again, I don't know, man. He's not been his movement hasn't really been like as good as it has been lately. I don't know. I really like Havertz. I just think Werner for this game with the space and his runs in behind, and then Ziyech, picking the ball up on the right and switching it to Mount or playing a ball in behind. I just think it'll work really nicely. So I've gone with that, I think.
See, I think it's weird. I think if what you say happens and they sit deep, I want to play what Lewis says. But if they don't play super deep, then I would prefer to see what you want. Because I think for Werner to be the striker, the opponent can't play super deep, in my logic.
No, but then Ziyech compensates that, though, because Werner will always make runs. It's just when Werner plays striker and he doesn't have Ziyech, no one picks him out. So that's why I put Ziyech there.
It's an interesting one. It's a fair one. I mean, Fantasy PGA Tour can't even accept that we went with Thiago over Christensen over Thiago. I mean, the reasoning for all of us was Thiago's fitness. He's 36. Let's not get him injured for a Champions League final. Plus, you could very much so make the argument that the game on Tuesday is more important. I know it's not a final. I know it doesn't win you a trophy. But we don't want to put ourselves into a position where we go to the Champions League final, we've lost the FA Cup, or we've won the FA Cup at top 4. And we need to win the Champions League final, not only to win the Champions League final, but also to be in the Champions League next season. We don't want to be in that position. We want to get top 4 done. I know we did that in 2012, but it's risky. Obviously, he's only come back to training. That was my counter argument. We couldn't really decide, so I just left it because Pys and Lewis said Christensen, so they kind of overruled me. And like we said, we don't know the fitness situation of both, and Tuchel will pick whoever is more fit, but we just don't know.
It could be either or. Like, that's what we were saying. But for me, it's like Thiago Silva played the full 90 on Wednesday. You're going to throw him into another full 90 on Saturday.
You know what? Fantasy PGA Tour, I hope you're happy now.
Either or. There you go, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Or we're just going to play with 12 men. Why not? I cannot decide. I think Ziyech almost deserves... Sorry?
I was saying it's about time we get the referee on our side.
There you go. I think Ziyech almost deserves a start. I think Havertz, if we're going to be angry at anybody, not Zuma, not Jorginho, if we're going to be angry at anybody after the Arsenal game, it should be Kai. Should that be a reason to not start? Maybe not. But I just think Ziyech did well when he came on for me. So, we're kind
Laurenz
of
as well. Like, Ziyech has scored in a lot of big games, remember. He scored in the semi at Wembley, so he has a habit of turning up in the big games. So I think I think starting him makes sense, not only because he's had good sub appearances, but I think, the way he drifts around as well, like picks up. I really feel Ziyech in this game, man. I hope I'm right, and I hope he does well.
It's a tough one because, again, it's almost like we said, is Tuesday more important? So if he needs to score a big goal, shouldn't he be doing that Tuesday?
I don't know. Like, it depends what you want to see it as. Like, I don't know. It's still a trophy, though, isn't it? Like, it's still the FA Cup. Like, you can argue what's more important, but I think this one is very important still. So
100%.
It's
a tough one to call.
Interesting anyway. Yeah, the lineups. I was going to say the lineup's going to be interesting anyway because Tuchel can do anything. Like, I think with our whole front three, we can argue about it as much as we want, but the only one who really delivers is Mount consistently. So, I think he picks himself, and then the rest are just whoever you want, really, whoever you fancy on the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I do know Lewis needs to head off now because he's doing a stream on his own channel. Shameless, of course. Stick with us for about 20 more minutes, then hop over to join Lewis's stream.
Please do, because we're going to go through the Arsenal-Chelsea game first, so you don't want to get involved anyway.
Exactly. Just skip that. Join them after. Subscribe to Lewis, then help him reach... Have you hit the 22K now with this or not?
Maybe. Thank you, Arsenal, I guess. Fucking dickheads. But yeah,
help him
whatever.
reach 25k. Help him reach 25k. Like you're meant to help me reach 10k. Although he's not quite as close, but myself and Pies
Get this guy to 10k already, man. Come on, bro.
Exactly.
I know there's
we're
over
literally
100 of you lot in here that haven't subscribed. So I know you lot are being stingy. Just press the damn button already.
Exactly. No, there you go. Thank you, Lewis. But appreciate you for coming on. As always, check him out on his channel, of course. And I'll talk to you soon, bro. Let's actually hit me with a score prediction quick for tomorrow.
I hate these ones, but 2-1. I see Leicester scoring in this one. But Chelsea will take the win, as always. Loz, take care. Bye.
Take care, bro.
Love.
Brilliant. A couple of other things that I'd like to discuss before we get into our almost score predictions and stuff is, like I said, not only how do I want to word it? Not only which is more important, top four, or the FA Cup final. It's like I don't really know, right? But I find it very interesting, and I said this for the almost the day after video yesterday with Con. I think the Arsenal game will almost be the reason why we're going to do very well in the Cup final and in the Champions League final. Do you agree with that?
Wait, what did you say? You just cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Because of the Arsenal results, that would almost be the reason why we'll do well for the rest of the season now, why we'll get top four, why we'll finish.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I've been saying this as well, even though I'm not as confident just because of Kepa. I just feel like we're going to win because first off, last year we lost the FA Cup final. So Mount has already said in one of his interviews that he's out for revenge and stuff. So, if Mount's on his best, then I think we win anyway because he's just been unreal for us this season. And secondly, I just feel like it's just a wake-up call. You can't lose this final now you've lost to Arsenal. We have to win. This is non-negotiable. So, I do feel like it's a wake-up call, and I feel like hearing what the players are saying, I feel like we'll win, but I just don't want to be overconfident because I was overconfident about Arsenal. I said it was going to be 3-4-0. We lost 1-0. So, I'm just trying to be a little bit more reserved, but hopefully we'll win. And the players just, it's up to the players, man. If they turn up, we're going to win because we're better than Leicester, let's be honest.
We are. We really are. We have another super chat here for 20 Norwegian crowns. Not that I know how much that is in euros or pounds, but I appreciate it. I think it's actually just times 20, so it's probably 2. Not times 20, times 10. There's probably 2. Appreciate the donation, saying Silva had an easy match on Wednesday and Ziyech is clinical. I would strongly debate your Ziyech's clinical situation for the miss against, the first one against City in the FA Cup semi, and then the miss against... Who was that against? Of the Werner cross. What game was that?
Which one are you thinking about? I'm trying to think as well. Ziyech miss.
What game was it? Someone please tell me in the chat which game Ziyech missed. Obviously, the Werner low cross. The game after Madrid.
Oh, Man U.
Fulham.
Was it Man U as well?
No, Man U as well. But after the Real Madrid game against Fulham. Obviously, we won in the end anyway.
Oh,
when Werner cut it in. And that was the one. That was the one. So I'm not sure about the clinical one because he missed one against City, obviously. He missed one against Fulham. He missed one against Man United. And he nearly missed the one he scored.
Laurenz,
and the one he scored against Atletico. Sorry?
Me and you had a debate about that one, though, didn't we? We had I said it was an unreal save, and then you said it was a sitter.
I still think it's a sitter. And like I said, the one against Atletico Madrid that he did score, that was only because Oblak had a howler. So, I'm not sure Ziyech clinical is the term I'd use. But he scored important goals, that's for sure. But Liban makes a fair point. Silva had an easy game in terms of physically on Wednesday. I mean, Arsenal had 2 touches in our box. So, and one of them we gave them, but passing it there. So, the centre-backs didn't really have to do a lot now, did they? So I think Silva is probably fine. I think it's just about it's probably a struggle of can he play tomorrow and Tuesday? And Tuchel will have to decide which one he prioritizes. Plus, how fit is Christensen? Can Christensen even play tomorrow? I think it comes down to all of these things, and it's difficult for us to judge. I suppose it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But sorry, to get back to it, I just think it really will be that kick up the butt that we needed that I hoped we didn't need, but that it seemed like we needed, because I would have been a little bit like, without the Arsenal game, if we win tomorrow, I would have almost been a little bit worried about Tuesday. And even if we beat Arsenal, we needed to beat Leicester, or at least draw against Leicester, not lose, right? Now, obviously, we really need to win that game, but still, like, I'm more confident for that now. The only game I'm a tad worried about is Villa, and I know you disagree with me because of CFC Daily. It's nothing to do with Grealish, really. It's more about them having fans back, and Villa on their day are a good team. And if they really have a good day and they want to have a good day for home fans returning, that can be a tough game. And if we only get a draw, we need either Leicester or Liverpool to not win. So that's kind of the thing.
I do agree with you, but at the same time, I think in pressure situations, I think we will deliver. I think we'll probably beat Villa. I thought kind of the same about Wolves at home last year. I thought, like, everyone was saying, we're going to drop points, we're going to lose, but then we won. So I don't know. I just think when push comes to shove, I think we will deliver. People will say, well, Arsenal was push come to shove. No, not really, because we were still ahead in top 4, and that was a chance to close the gap to Leicester. Whenever we have a chance to close the gap or like take advantage of others' results, we don't do it. But whenever we're under pressure, we seem to do well. So it's actually, some people could argue that losing to Arsenal is actually a good thing, in the sense that it's a wake-up call, and now we will perform. And that's what I believe in. I think that we will get the job done. I think that's typical Chelsea, really. We'll get the job done when it matters. Champions League final is completely different because we're playing Man City. That's completely different. But Villa and Leicester, come on, man. Like, if we don't win those, we don't deserve top 4 anyway. We've got enough quality to beat them. Like, seriously. Yeah,
I think I agree with you, but I think you said whenever Leicester slipped up, that's when we slipped up. Leicester didn't slip up on Tuesday. They beat Man United. So against Arsenal, that logic kind of doesn't apply.
No, but that was a C team, though, for a Man U. Come on.
Sure, but Leicester still didn't slip up. So it kind of, the pressure was on us to beat Arsenal, and we didn't do it. But I do agree. I'm still confident that it will happen and we'll be absolutely fine. What comment did I just want to highlight where it was? I don't know if I remember you, but I appreciate you. And yes, Nikita, dodgy name if you're an F1 fan, but fair enough. Yes, Pice does think Ziyech should start. And what other question? There was a few, somehow, I'm only reading over it, but somehow there was a debate. No, you don't qualify for the Champions League by winning the FA Cup. Maybe you should. It would be more fun if the FA Cup got a Champions League spot and maybe only the top 3 in the Prem would. That'd be much more fun, in my opinion. It would also, you know how people say FA Cup has lost its magic and has lost its value. If you gave it a Champions League spot, it would get that back straight up. It would be much more fun, wouldn't it?
To be honest, I love the FA Cup. I think winning it's really good. I just think people kind of diss it a lot because Arsenal seem to win it a lot. So, I think in terms of the 2 trophies, like Carabao holds way less importance and value than the FA Cup. The FA Cup's a really, really good one to win, I think.
Yeah, no, it is, but it would still be, I don't know, almost more fun if you gave it a Champions League trophy, I suppose. And one question I have here by Fantasy PGH saying, you're talking about resting players for Tuesday. Do you think Leicester would also have this mentality? Now, no, but there's a big difference here. Leicester haven't won, well, obviously they won the FA Cup. They won the Premier League 2016. But other than that, Leicester haven't won an FA Cup. How long has it been in there since they won the FA Cup? I forgot the number. It's like decades ago. So for them, winning the FA Cup is a much bigger thing than for us, especially because we got a Champions League final coming up. But for us, Champions League is almost more important than for Leicester. Like, Leicester are probably okay. Leicester, before worrying about Champions League, should at some point start doing actually something acceptable in Europa League when they're playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're in that all the time, and they always bottle it by the time they get to round of 16. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on. You're a good team. Don't stop bottling it every time. I mean, who knows? It might be us and Liverpool in the top 4 and Leicester bought it again. But before Leicester focus on the Champions League, I think they need to start doing a little bit better in the Europa League. They need to kind of almost take steps, almost a little. If they start qualifying for the Champions League now regularly, I think it almost takes a step away from them to become a consistent big team, if that makes sense. I think they almost need a season or 2 of doing well in the Europa League as well as doing good in the Premier League before they do Champions League qualification stuff, for me. But obviously they will disagree. I get that, but it's just my viewpoint on it. But from your perspective, Pice, do you see Leicester giving any sort of almost focus to Tuesday on tomorrow, or will it all be about tomorrow and then they'll see how fit they are and that's what they pick on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think it'll be the same with us as well. I think all focus is on tomorrow, just winning the cup, and then we'll see what happens on Tuesday. The thing is with Leicester as well, they usually kind of play the same squad every game. Like, it's usually Vardy and Acho, it's usually Tielemans and Didi. Like, they don't really rotate anyway like us. They haven't really got the depth too. Their depth isn't as good as ours. So, if they did rotate, I think that would be good for us on Tuesday because I don't really rate their depth. But no, I think pretty much they'll start kind of the same team in both games, which actually could work as an advantage for us because, if we give them the run around tomorrow, they might be tired on Tuesday, so we never know. We'll see what happens. But I think, they'll obviously, both sides will probably play, their strongest teams as you would tomorrow. But to be honest with you, do we have a strongest team? Like, our team's is all over the place, isn't it? Like, everyone argues what our strongest team is. We don't have nailed on starters. So for us, it's a bit different. But for them, no, I mean, you can look at pretty much their Premier League games and you can I could probably pretty much name their 11 anyway. They're usually that similar. So, yeah.
I mean, seemingly, I don't know whether Anindia, sorry for butchering your name, seems to have some sort of doubt about Palace. And I also saw when I was checking Leicester's fitness situation, like before the stream, just to, know what's going on with them. There was on this Leicestershire website, there was almost like a poll for readers. Do they think Perez or Maddison will start? I didn't know this was a debate to be had. Has Maddison fallen off the cliff so much? Because 2 months ago, everybody was telling me Mason Mount's worse than Maddison, and now he's not even a guaranteed starter anymore. I'm a bit confused by that. I would expect him to start, but maybe he hasn't done so well. Maybe he won't. I don't know. But I'd rather Perez start because I'm less worried about him than I am about Maddison. But maybe that's me not knowing enough about Maddison's form recently.
Yeah, no, I think Maddison will start. He came off the bench the other day, and I think, with Perez anyway, he's playing out wide more now. They kind of play Maddison sort of behind Iheanacho and Vardy, and then they usually play Albrighton and Perez out wide. So, yeah, that's what they usually do anyway. They're not. Yeah, Maddison isn't in form, but still, he's a good player. Like, I expect him to start.
Fair play. I rate that name, Hakimista. That's quite cool. Although, that's Hakimi. I thought you were talking about, Fladio baited me there. I thought you were talking about Hakim Ziyech. Nah, Hakimista, get him in. What do we have here? Where was it? Someone said they're most worried about Iheanacho. That was kind of the last question. Who are you most worried about with Leicester, Pys?
To be honest with you, it's gonna shock you a little bit because he's not been in very good form, but I'm most worried about Vardy, to be honest with you, because I just think in big games he always delivers. Yeah. And even though he hasn't been great for a while now, he's really tailed off. I just think cup final, I'm worried about Vardy most. I'm worried about Iheanacho too because his finishing is massively improved and he's in red hot form. But I just think, I don't know, man. Vardy's the big threat always for me in big games, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think it's those two for sure, and maybe Vardy a tad more. But difficult, interesting question, Pys. Do you agree this is our second most important game of the season?
I do agree. You know why? It's because I think if we win this trophy, it will not only give confidence for the Champions League final. It's also we've got a young squad, and never play down the value of the first trophy for the likes of Mason Mount and all the others of the young players. To really get that first sort of winning taste in a Chelsea shirt is going to be really, really big for them. We had that under Mourinho, remember, that when we won the first trophy, it kind of led on to more, and just, I think it will make the players more hungry. They'll want to feel that feeling. And as Mount said in his interview, you never want to lose twice in a cup final back to back. So to get that first feeling of winning success for this squad, Havertz as well, Werner, not only just the Cobham players, I think will be very, very big for our future.
That's a good point, to be honest. I think it's difficult to name a second most important game of the season because if we win the Champions League, the second most important game was both semi-final legs against Real Madrid. If we lose the Champions League final, that almost made the semi-finals irrelevant, if that makes sense. So, it's kind of like you can only make that decision at the end of the season because if we win the Champions League, it honestly does not matter whether we win the FA Cup or not. It would be nice if we do, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Same as it doesn't matter if we get top 4. If we win the Champions League, all's good. Like, it's literally just what it is. So I don't know. It's a tough one for me. And the last question I want to discuss with you, Pys, before we kind of round it out here, it definitely matters. Do you agree? Do you think even if we win the Champions League, it matters if we win the FA Cup, Pys? Obviously, it matters, but almost doesn't.
Well, I mean, the double would be amazing.
Sure.
but I don't know. I just really rate the FA Cup. Like, if we win the FA Cup, finish top 4, lose the Champions League, yeah, that will suck. But, that will really, really suck. But, still we'll have the revenue, we'll have a trophy behind us. It's still good in a way. It's just, the problem is for us is we've got this Champions League final. So everyone's sort of, taken away from the fact that we've also got an FA Cup final. Like, Laurenz, I feel like if we lost to Real Madrid, everyone would be absolutely gassed for tomorrow. We would need everyone would be begging we get this trophy. But because we've got that Champions League final, people are like, FA Cup final. It would be nice to win, but Champions League, yeah, that's the big one. But for me, they're as big as each other because, as I said, the first trophy, if we win tomorrow, that leads on to more confidence.
Oh no, 100%. But obviously the question is if we win the Champions League anyway, almost regardless of losing tomorrow, if that makes sense. Obviously the world doesn't work that way, but in terms of if we talk about it the day after the Champions League final, we have won that, we lost this, then does it matter? For me, not really, personally. I mean, sure, it makes it even better, but does it make the season now bad because we lost the FA Cup final? No, you win the Champions League, it doesn't matter, and nothing matters anymore. But the last question I want to discuss with you really is the fact that rumors or reports have come out by the Telegraph in a very positive article about Thomas Tuchel released, I think this morning. I read it. And the reports are that Thomas Tuchel would actually be basically as hinted at being okay if we go into next season with pretty much the same squad, if we can't get our main targets. That to me tells me 2 things. One, he doesn't want any B-Tech players like we signed so many times, the Drinkwater, the Zappacosta, these lot. We don't want that. Either we get the first choice, one or two, one of the top 2 choice targets in each position, or don't get any, if that makes sense. But how do you feel about that opinion? And also his fitness coach? I don't know whether it's his fitness coach that's also here, because what the article said, he worked with him at Mainz, Dortmund, and PSG, but I'm not sure if he's here too. Probably not, otherwise he wouldn't have given this interview, I presume. But he basically said he thinks Tuchel learned a lot from his PSG and Dortmund experience, and has kind of learned that he needs to manage upwards a little bit and not to make enemies everywhere. And that's why he's almost like, I'm not going to make enemies. If you give me the players I want, amazing. If you don't, I have a good squad. I will make something work with this. How do you feel about that approach? Because the only thing that worries me a little bit is that he doesn't put enough fire under the behinds of the board to get him those players.
But you can't though, Laurenz, at Chelsea. I think, by the way, Tuchel will still ask for players. Let's.
No, he will. Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
And I think that the board will deliver the players, but it will just be a combination, like we saw under Frank. Frank wanted what? Ziyech and Chilwell, but then the board signed other targets like Havertz, like Werner. I think it'll be like that. I think Tuchel will get 1 or 2 of his targets, maybe, or 1 of his targets, and then we'll still do business. But I think what he's saying is kind of good in a way, because it means he won't argue. It's good that he's clearly learned from PSG and Dortmund. And to be honest, Tuchel said this is his dream job as well. So why would you want to, beef the board and then reduce your stay? He's going to get offered a new contract. We all saw that report as well. So, I think it's good. I think it's good that he's willing to work with the board or willing to work with the squad that he has. And I think it will work out well, honestly. I think doing it this way means you will probably be more inclined to actually get back in, because you're not putting pressure on the board. You're not asking for things. So, I think it's more possible that he'll get what he wants being this way. And not being so pushy and shovey, because you know what Marina's like. She does the deals. It can end up being a very kind of back and forth kind of thing. If you're pushing for targets, like Lampard really wanted Rice, how did that end up for him? We didn't even put a bid in. You know what I mean? So if Tuchel wants a player and he's like, if you guys, Marina, if you want to give me those, that'll be really appreciated. But if not, I'm fine. I think Marina's then going to be more inclined to actually back him, because he's shown the right attitude and right, commitment and being engaged in
almost like a teacher. Marina's like a teacher.
Yeah, Marina's the boss, though. She runs the transfers. So, although
Yeah.
Roman obviously gives final word for it, Marina still runs the club day to day. So it's her that obviously Marina Tuchel's got to work with. So if they can do a good relationship, then perfect. And I think the way, yeah, as Lewis says in the comments, rule number one: don't mess with Marina. And I don't think Tuchel will. That's the thing. Like, he knows from past experiences. Don't mess about with the board owners. Don't argue, because it's never going to lead you anywhere. But no, I do think Tuchel will get a lot of backing this summer, especially. I mean, I've said this before. If he wins the Champions League, we can sign anyone. Like, the pull power will be instantly to us. So, yeah, the summer's either going to be very, very good or very bad, depending on no top four and whatever happens. I just hope it's the good one.
Yeah, it's got to be an interesting one. I don't think we'll be in a position where we won't sign anybody, especially if we win the Champions League. Obviously, bad things can happen, and I'm not even going to say it just to not jinx it. But the interesting thing here is, if he doesn't push for it, he might not be sacked for problems with the board. But if he doesn't push for signings, and you know how that happens, how Chelsea, whenever we have a good season, we don't sign players, and then we obviously usually it's after winning the league, but obviously we haven't really had the comparison with the Champions League for 9 years, so who knows? Usually when we win the league, we haven't done enough in the transfer window, and then that's why we didn't have a good following season. And so he might not get...
Because of Hazard. That's the thing. It's completely different now for me. I feel like Roman consistently wants to improve now because we don't have that man to rely on. And I think Roman knows as the owner that this squad isn't, even if we win the Champions League now, he knows it's still a young squad. We still need improvements. You only have to look at our league, position. And City's a one-off game. Great. We win that. It's amazing. But I just feel like Roman knows that we still need a lot of work in the transfer market. So we don't need much, to be honest. We need a lot in the right areas, but we don't need many players. Like, I think we signed a lot last season. Obviously, a lot of young talent. We kind of need now that big striker, the experienced striker. Like, I'd love Lukaku. I've always said this before. We need a backup DM or a DM that can come in and play when Kante and Jorginho picks up injuries. We need probably a centre-back, because like a long-term centre-back that will be there to play next season and also replace Silva the following season when he leaves. So it's all about the right planning and the right execution, and I hope we get it right, because if we do, we can win a lot of trophies. There's no doubt about that, because we've got the manager, we've got depth. We need to plug the right areas with world-class signings. It doesn't have to be a lot, it has to be the right ones. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree. It's interesting, and because you brought up Lukaku here, again, I was listening to Christoph. I'm sure you know him, Pais, but a lot of people, he's a very well-renowned, very respected, very reliable Belgian journalist, especially on Belgian news, and I suppose French a little bit as well, because he's the French part of Belgium. Very, reliable journalist. He said, in his opinion, signing Lukaku is a risky move for Chelsea, because all in all, transfer budget and wages will cost you all in all probably around 200 million. You get barely any of that back by the time his contract's done. And Serie A is a lot slower, which he believes is part of the reason why he's banged it so hard there. And bangs it always so hard against these lesser oppositions in the Prem. But as soon as you go to the better teams, that's when he starts to struggle a little bit. It's an interesting call, to be honest. It's where the league difference comes in, and it's always difficult to judge.
I kind of disagree with that, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not in a position to disagree with him, but I just think Lukaku is already proven. He's scored over 100 league goals, and I think it's unfair to judge him for
not even just. He has more Premier League goals than Drogba. So
exactly, bro. Like, this is why I want him so much, because not only that, at Inter Milan, his first touch has improved, his hold-up play has improved. Like, those were the things that Man United fans hated him for, and he's improved.
I think that the touch is one of those things that looks better because the league's slower. When you have more space, every player is comfortable having a better touch. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, though, because saying that, Werner always had a bad touch in the Bundesliga, so I don't know.
It's true. What did I see here a minute ago? The Lewandowski thing, you need to get this out of your head. Lewandowski's not leaving Bayern Munich. People need to stop thinking about this. I know some, websites or outlets might make this rumor up, might make it a thing, but it's not a thing. It's not a thing. But yeah, the two, if it actually is all in all 20, because I thought Lukaku would be cheaper than he seems to be. I think Lukaku is way too expensive because he's nearly as expensive as Haaland, and then you have to go for Haaland just for resale value. Even if right now Lukaku is maybe a tad better for being more experienced, he's way too expensive for being 28, 29 years old. Way too expensive, in my opinion. Like, way too expensive.
Depends. If it's 200 million, then for sure it's expensive. But every outlet that said, like, if he is going to be like a possible departure at all, it will be like 120 million. And I think that's what you have to pay for a world-class striker in his prime. You know, these are the guys that I think there's only 3 guys that would actually push us to win a league. Would be Lukaku, would be Haaland, would be Kane. Those are the 3.
Well, Lewandowski would as well, but obviously he's just not happening.
Yeah, but I'm not even including him because I don't think he's leaving Bayern until probably next year, maybe when they probably try and sign Haaland. Like, I think if he doesn't leave, Haaland will probably go like Bayern. But yeah, I think those are the 3. If you want to, this is the thing that annoys me with some Chelsea fans as well. Like, they say, "Oh, we need a world-class striker," but then when the money comes on the table, we're like, "Oh, nah, why don't we just sign Aguero?" Like, we
No. But for Haaland, I think all in all, 200 million is absolutely fine. I know it sounds stupid, and 200 million includes wages, just to mention it, guys. But I think you can't, like, if you give him a 4-year contract, 5-year contract, by that point, he's 32, 33. That's basically, like, his resale value will be a tenth of what we'll sign him for, maybe like 20% of what we signed him for. That's not enough. A club like Chelsea doesn't operate that way. Like, we have to just accept Chelsea doesn't operate that way. Otherwise, we wouldn't have sold Hazard when we did, you know, if we operated that way, in my opinion. But that's maybe a different topic for a different day. We've been going for a good while anyway. Pies, the last thing, score prediction for tomorrow.
I'm going to say what Lewis said. I was always thinking 2-1. I think Leicester will score, but I think we'll just edge it. Maybe 3-1 if we're clinical, but I don't usually put more than 2 on our score predictions. So I'll go with 2-1 and maybe 2-0 if we are really, really good defensively.
I would agree with that. Nitin, good point, but you're not loaning out Erling Haaland, so I don't know. Anyway, I actually agree with you guys. 2-1 was also my prediction. And someone said it in the chat, I think before we even went live, it's the most important thing is that we score first. Because like what we saw happen against Arsenal, like you and I said it, if Havertz scores, it's an easy dub. But he didn't. We conceded a goal, and that was a very big problem. So we need to make sure we concede first. Not concede first, score first. Touch wood. Jinxed it. Score first, and ideally go 2-0 up. Even if we concede 1, we're defensively good enough to see it out there. And to finish it off here, we have a last super chat of today. I appreciate it a lot. Fantasy PGO2, a good guy. And I respect your high value for the FA Cup, which, you know, you've mentioned and you grew up that way and stuff. Totally respect it. Saying thanks again for a great stream, Laurenz, Pies, and Lewis, of course. Thanks to all the mods too. Let's hope we lift a trophy tomorrow. Let's hope we do. Come on the Chelsea. That's what we're going to leave it on here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Still 170 if you're watching, which I really do appreciate. If you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. Maybe we're even less than 100 subscribers away at this point from 10,000. Don't know how many will have subscribed already today. But at the start of the stream, we were 125 subscribers away from the big 10,000. So if you could subscribe right now, that would honestly be massively appreciated. Literally just one click of a button takes you a second, 2 seconds. Just go down below, click that big red subscribe button, smash the like button as well. Become a member if you fancy that. But yeah, Pies, as always, thank you for coming on. Check him out on Twitter. The link is down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards. Let's go and win that trophy tomorrow. And I'll see you. Actually, quick shout out. We're going live a little bit earlier tomorrow after the game than usual, because from the looks of things, I'm going to be doing the watch along on Chelsea Fan TV. I'm just going to drag that a little bit over, and then we'll be live sooner than the 45 minutes after. I haven't informed Pice about this, so we'll see whether he'll be there from the start or whether he'll join us later. But if you're going to tune in for that, about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes after full time is when we'll go live tomorrow. So yeah, see you then. Hopefully we'll be celebrating an FA Cup win. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.